I want to make it extremely clear that every single member of Congress in this building behind us that does not support impeachment and removal now is complicit in the demolition of American democracy. This is on you, Congress. Every single thing that Donald J. Trump and his illegal cabinet and cohorts do is on you. Because guess what? The Constitution empowers Congress to remove a tyrannical president.
Yes.
Hi, I'm Robert Wilkins, aka Basketball Tall, your BT dispatcher, bringing you news and commentary with a different flavor. Just want you to know, what you're going to look at here, I want you to truly evaluate. And I evaluate it from my police, law enforcement career experience, and I get more into that along the way. So don't go anywhere. Please watch this to the end because it's so important for you and your family. And I don't want anyone to ever say that you were not notified.
Citizens impeachment is also in our coalition, 5051 DC. So many amazing grassroots organizations that have stood up to say we are not going to stand for this anymore. Free Speech for People has been a leader in this fight. From day one, they started an Impeach Trump Again petition that just a few months ago reached over 1 million signatures.
Wow, 1 million people signed the petition. That's pretty impressive. I didn't even know there was a petition to be signed. And wow, they got 1 million already. Hey, that makes a statement there, putting your name to paper. And how many of you are afraid to do that?
I was honored to join Representative Al Green and Free Speech for People President John Bonifaz on that day here at the Triangle to deliver those signatures to the members of Congress. Please join me in welcoming Free Speech for People President John Bonifaz.
Thank you, John. Thanks so much.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. The framers were clear. The framers were clear. There would be no monarchs, no tyrants who would govern this nation, no kings in America. They set out to establish 3 co-equal branches of government.
You are now about to learn a little bit about the Constitution, what the law says. So keep that in mind.
Article 1 for the United States Congress. Article 2 for the presidency. And Article 3 for the judiciary. 3 co-equal branches of government. No kings in America. But they set up an extra guardrail for that day when a president would so trample on the Constitution, so trample on the rule of law, that president would need to be impeached and removed from public office. Section 4 of Article 2, the impeachment clause. We have reached that moment today. Donald Trump has committed multiple abuses of power since assuming the oath of office. And as Jessica said at impeachtrumpagain.org, we have been documenting in detail these abuses of power, 25 distinct grounds.
Did he say 25? I wonder how they're going to prove that.
For impeaching and removing this lawless president, disappearing people from the streets and sending them to foreign torture prisons, an abuse of power, an impeachable offense, detaining and removing unlawfully U.S. residents without due process of law, an abuse of power, an impeachable offense, creating treason and levying treason against the people of the United States, sending the military into our nation's cities against its people, an abuse of power, an impeachable offense, attacking the United States Congress, usurping its authority to appropriate money. Congress, under Article 1, has the power to appropriate funds. This president goes ahead and freezes trillions of dollars of duly appropriated funds enacted by the United States Congress. An abuse of power, an impeachable offense, defying multiple court orders issued by federal courts all across the country, attacking the United States judiciary, an abuse of power, an impeachable offense, pardoning 1,500 plus insurrectionists for an insurrection that he incited on January 6, 2021 to try to stop the peaceful transfer of power, an abuse of power, an impeachable offense, engaging in rampant corruption in the White House, treating the Oval Office as a profit-making enterprise at the public expense, violating the domestic and foreign emoluments clauses of the United States Constitution, an abuse of power, an impeachable offense, engaging in unlawful bombings of people in the Caribbean, in the Pacific with no congressional authorization, extrajudicial killings, an abuse of power, an impeachable offense, engaging in misusing the Justice Department, the FBI, to go after his perceived enemies, the sham indictment of James Comey, the sham indictment of Letitia James, an abuse of power, an impeachable offense. The list goes on.
What do you think? Do you think there's a slight possibility of a case there?
The list goes on, and yet I know there are people who will say, now is not the time to talk about impeachment. We've tried this before. This president was impeached twice. We need to move on. We have three responses to that claim. Number one, we either have a constitution or we don't. We either have an impeachment clause or we don't. If we're not going to invoke the impeachment power at this critical hour for our nation, then we might as well say we're giving up on the Constitution. We refuse to give up on the United States Constitution. Number two, when we do not name these actions for what they are, high crimes against the state, we normalize this conduct. We refuse to normalize these high crimes. And number three, members of Congress take the very same oath that Donald Trump took on January 20th, 2025, to protect and defend the United States Constitution. They have a duty, a sworn duty, to uphold their oath, to abide by that mandate, and to invoke the impeachment power.
I swore to uphold the Constitution multiple times. And as I listen to this, I'm listening to it and I'm thinking of it as the Constitution, the laws, every city, state, and federal law. Evaluate it that way because it comes down to right and wrong, right? That's what the law dictates, what's right and wrong.
Now, there is a member of Congress here today, Congressman Al Green of Houston, Texas. Congressman Green has abided by that oath. He has followed the mandate of that oath. And he has introduced articles of impeachment. And he has already forced one floor vote on the House of Representatives where 78 of his colleagues joined him. We appreciate and applaud Congressman Green's courage and leadership. And we need more members of Congress to stand with him. We need more members of Congress to introduce articles of impeachment. I had a member of Congress say to me recently, John, what do you want? You want on Tuesday articles of impeachment introduced and a vote, and you want on Wednesday other articles of impeachment introduced and a vote, and then you want on Thursday other articles of impeachment introduced and a vote? And I said, yes, that's what we want. We can chew gum and walk at the same time. We need to have this debate on a daily level. There are more than enough articles to go around to be introduced, and this debate should be happening on a daily level in the House of Representatives. So we have a message for Donald Trump today. We are not afraid of you. We are not afraid of you. You are a lawless, wannabe dictator. You have committed high crimes against the state. We will hold you accountable. You must be impeached and removed from public office. Thank you.
What do you think? Do you think he's making a case? Does he have a valid point? Think about the law now when you evaluate this, because if they've got 25 or more or whatever, it has to be based on law, right?
Thank you for being here. My name is Dave Mittich, and I am the Congressional Outreach Lead for FLAIR USA. I have the privilege to speak today on behalf of every volunteer of FLAIR, which stands for, as Jessica said, For Liberation and Resistance Everywhere. We are a nonpartisan group of Americans who refuse to look away while our democracy is devolving into an authoritarian state. Our main goal is the removal of President Trump through legal and constitutional means. Since May 1st, our volunteers have held a continuous, peaceful First Amendment vigil outside Union Station. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, in the heat, cold, wind, and rain. We've been unlawfully raided by the Trump regime. U.S. Park Police, MPS participated. Our tents dismantled. First Amendment protected expressive materials taken without warrant, without inventory. We were treated like criminals. But we've never left. Our bodies are resistance. We are there back again. FLAIR volunteers have spoken to thousands who passed through Union Station and have collected thousands of petitions demanding Congress impeach, convict, and remove the tyrant Donald John Trump from office. Today, thousands of constituents and members of the Removal Coalition have traveled across the country in record numbers to lobby their members of Congress to take a position of yes on impeachment because they know the danger we face is real. It is a constitutional right protected by the First Amendment for citizens to petition their government for a redress of grievances. That is what we are doing here today. These constituents know that impeachment, conviction, and removal are the constitutional obligations by members of Congress. When a president abuses power or threatens the stability of a nation, Congress cannot simply hope things will improve on their own. Congress must act. I've heard from establishment Democrats and their staffers, such as my representative Chrissy Houlihan from Pennsylvania, say things like, "Now's not the right time to impeach him." Or, "We have to wait until we win the midterms to get the majority." Or, "We've impeached him twice before and he wasn't convicted in the Senate." The legislative director of Representative Jamie Raskin told me in person, "What do you expect us to do? Impeach him every day?" Maybe. Maybe we just do that. And with Rule 9, Rule IX of the House rules, that actually is an option. But we mostly hear poor excuses of why we shouldn't impeach Trump. Well, I say to you, it's always the right time to honor your oath to defend the Constitution.
As Dave mentioned, that wall of cultish demagoguery that has seemed so loyal in support of this illegal presidency is fracturing. For anybody who has said the time is not right, the time is not right, for God's sakes, if it's not now, when will it ever be?
Right, that's right.
I just want to emphasize, this might feel like an academic exercise to some, and I want to emphasize how much of an academic exercise it is not. The people that you see standing here, the people that traveled across this country from every state in the union to be with us here today, are literally standing in the breach between this progression towards a more perfect union and freedom that we have been on for 250 years and the demolition of American democracy. We are bringing the solution. I want to make it extremely clear that every single member of Congress in this building behind us that does not support impeachment and removal now is complicit in the demolition of American democracy. This is on you, Congress. Every single thing that Donald J. Trump and his illegal cabinet and cohorts do is on you. Because guess what? The Constitution empowers Congress to remove a tyrannical president.
Yes.
Congress is the most powerful of all three branches of government. Think about this. In Congress, you have this huge, large body of people from all over the United States. And we're talking about, including the House of Representatives and the Senate, over 500 people. And the thing about it is, the president cannot get rid of a congressman. He couldn't fire him, nor can the Supreme Court. But check this out. Congress, as a body, to show their power, as a body, can get rid of the president. Congress can also get rid, through impeachment or whatever, a Supreme Court justice, including any federal judge. They all have a lifetime appointment. And Congress has the power, because you can see it's not just one person, it's not just 9, but it's a huge body of people that brings in America, samples of America.
And this courageous congressman standing behind me, who has become my friend, Representative Al Green, should not be standing alone. It is obscene and ludicrous that he has been the only member of this body to be willing to file and force an article of impeachment up until this time. Where are the rest of you? What are you waiting for? If your capitulation in the shutdown fight did not show you how infuriated the American people are with your spinelessness, what will? We are looking for heroes. We are looking for action. We are looking for leadership, and we are needing it now. Now, as much as I adore who has become my friend, Representative Al Green, I'm even hard on him. I'm even hard on him because I want him to bring more articles of impeachment. And I feel terrible that I have to put it all on this one man. We are contacting other offices. Where are you? Why are you not responding to the people's demands? But I asked Congressman Green when he came here with us today if he would make a commitment to you. And because he is a man of honor and a man of courage, he has an announcement to make for you today. And I, with great pleasure, welcome my friend, Representative Al Green.
I'm here today because this is my watch. This is my watch. But it's also the watch of all of the people who are here with me. So in truth, this is our watch. Yes. This is our watch. Yes. And on our watch, we refuse to allow the demise of democracy. Yes. Not on our watch. On our watch, we refuse to allow liberty and justice for all to become a thing of the past. Not on our watch. Not on our watch. On our watch, we refuse to allow one person to dominate the House, the Senate, and the presidency in the United States of America. Not on our watch. This is our watch. Dr. King reminds us that the truest measure of the person is not where the person stands in times of comfort and convenience, when there are no issues related to democracy and the republic. He reminds us that the truest measure of the person is where do you stand in times of challenge and controversy. In these times of challenge and controversy, we stand for the remedy that can make the difference and maintain the democracy, and that remedy is impeachment. Impeachment. But that's not enough. That's not enough. Impeachment we must do. Impeachment is the indictment. So he must be indicted. Impeachment. But then there's a Senate. And the Senate has the opportunity to try the case. It is in the Senate that you get what? Conviction. Conviction. And when the Senate convicts, then the Senate has the opportunity to do what? Remove. impeach, convict, and remove. That's why we're here today. And we're also here today to let you know that on Saturday, the movement continues. It is a peaceful movement. It is a peaceful movement. It is the movement that John Lewis would appreciate, that Dr. King would appreciate. Peaceful, nonviolent movement. And it will continue right here in Washington, D.C. So we want all of the people across the length and breadth of the nation, if you can, make your way to this Capitol for 12 noon on Washington, D.C., at which time the movement will continue. Jessica has given me the opportunity to make this announcement. We are now in the season of being grateful, Thanksgiving. We will then move to the season of giving. And in this season of giving, I believe that there is something that we who are on this watch must give. I am proud to say that on this season of giving, that Santa has something for a very naughty person. It will come before Christmas. The naughty person of whom I speak you know well, probably only too well. And this naughty person deserves the gift of having articles of impeachment filed in the United States House of Representatives before the Christmas break. I pledge to you, I will bring those articles of impeachment to the attention of the Congress of the United States of America before the Christmas break.
Wow. He has pledged to bring the articles of impeachment before the Christmas break, or did he say during the Christmas break? But still, that is taking a step. And the thing about it is, Congress does have the power. But I wonder, because it seems like every time we wake up every day, there's something new, isn't it? You know, a lot of folks are in an uproar, don't know what's next. A lot of folks believe we're going to be in a war next with Venezuela. How would that be when we see our boys maybe dying? Something to think about. But anyway, don't listen to me. Listen to what they're saying. They're making a case. Then you evaluate it for yourself.
The movement continues. This is not a moment in time. This is a movement for all time. And those who have the courage to stand for liberty and justice for all, you are a part of this movement. You may not know it, but you are. Those who believe that government of the people, by the people, for the people is a necessity in a democracy, you are a part of this movement. So let us not forget that if we are to maintain what has been given to us, we inherited this democracy. And if we are to maintain this democracy, we have to do more than say we believe in these things. We have to participate. This is a participatory democracy. Impeachment requires the hands and the guidance of all of us. So I beg of you, remember 12 o'clock, remember Saturday, remember Washington, D.C., and remember that there will be articles of impeachment filed before the Christmas break. This I pledge, this I will do. God bless you.
Hold on. Don't go anywhere. It's not over yet.
I say you have an opportunity in the next 48 hours to not yourself be complicit in the destruction of American democracy. Because we, the people here, are giving the country and the world a remedy. And we need you to tell them about it. The First Amendment of the Constitution gives us the right to assemble, to have free speech, to redress our government for grievances. And we are exercising that very First Amendment that gives each and every one of you the right to be here today. We need the media to talk about this between now and Saturday. We need them to put it on blast. We need our friends like Jimmy Kimmel, who I love so much, in Late Night, and the American people that stood out for him when his free speech rights were threatened. We need him to talk about it. We need Stephen Colbert, who has been such a warrior after his contract was insanely pulled to appease this administration, to talk about it. We need the morning shows to talk about it. We need international newspapers to talk about it. We need the whole world to talk about the peaceful convergence that we are having in Remove the Regime on Saturday, November 22nd.
Democrat majority would help secure impeachment.
Well, obviously, a majority is helpful. I'd love to have a majority. But the Constitution does not have a scintilla of a word in it indicating that you have to wait until you have a majority to impeach. It's just not there. So I don't want to give anybody the belief that there is relief in not having a majority. There is no relief. The Constitution is perspicuously clear. If a person commits an impeachable offense, then we have impeachment as the means of removal, especially given that we now have a president who has been given certain immunities that preclude other forms of punishment for his transgressions. Dastardly deeds are being committed on a daily basis. We cannot allow it to continue such that it becomes normalized. We refuse to do it. Impeach, convict, and remove is the remedy because the Supreme Court has given immunity. I'm unbought, unbossed, and unafraid. A liberated Democrat. The Constitution has no mandate for conferring with leadership, quite frankly, or anybody else. Each member of Congress can bring this privilege resolution. Now, here's what I didn't say earlier that I'll say now. I said I would bring articles of impeachment. I would file them. But I'm going to bring them to a vote. It's not enough to file them and not have a vote on them. Yes. We will bring those articles of impeachment to the floor as a privilege resolution, and there will be a vote on them. And then we let the chips fall where they may. I can tell you how I will vote. I can't speak for anybody else.
Right here.
Thank you. I think Jessica, a couple others mentioned that not supporting this would be an indictment on some of the other figures of the Democratic Party, Schumer, Jeffries. Representative Green, do you share that perspective?
Here's my perspective. I believe in the Constitution. I believe that what I'm doing is mandated by the Constitution and supported by a movement. I will let others decide for themselves. Let them make their own choice as to how they will conduct themselves. But for me, there is but one option: impeach, convict, and remove.
Right here.
If you had a message for fellow Democrats, kind of have them in mind, what would it be?
The message to all Democrats and all people, but to the people who have the opportunity to vote, I say vote your conscience. Yes. My conscience tells me that now is the time. This is a seminal moment in time. It's going to impact the rest of time. And if we don't take advantage of this seminal moment in time, there was a baby over here just a few moments ago, we will leave, he is posterity. We will not leave posterity the democracy that we inherited. We would do ourselves and posterity a disservice if we don't impeach, convict, and remove. Listen, it's not enough for him to serve out his term. He needs to be impeached, convicted, and removed so that there will not be another Donald Trump to show up without considering the fact that we will take actions to impeach, convict, and remove you from office.
Yeah.
Congressman, again, do you know how many articles you will introduce, and do you know what topics they will focus on? What violations do you want to highlight?
Well, I do have some ideas. I'll be conferring with John and some others. Obviously, Jessica and I confer quite regularly, but I'd rather not introduce them today. Today is a day for us to announce that there is a march on Saturday, that you can join the march, and when we introduce the articles, they'll be presented to all of the press. You'll have an opportunity to peruse, scrutinize, and draw your own conclusions, but know this, they will be introduced and they will be presented and there will be a vote. And by the way, when I say vote, listen, for those who may not know, the vote can be several things. It can be a vote to let's move forward with the impeachment articles, or it can be a vote made by someone to table. I will not vote to table the articles. People who vote to table the articles are voting against impeachment.
Right.
So I'm not going to vote to table. I'm going to vote to have those articles themselves voted on, up or down, so that we can impeach, convict, and remove by virtue of the House first impeaching, the Senate then following through with the trial, as a result finding the president guilty of impeachable offenses, and thereafter the Senate makes the decision to remove. That's the process. The process should be followed. The president should be removed from office for his dastardly deeds that are unconstitutional in nature and harmful to our nation, harmful to liberty and justice for all, harmful for posterity, because it is this generation, this is our watch. What we leave, others will inherit. We inherited a democracy that is the least we can leave.
Just to clarify, you're going to introduce the articles before Christmas and the vote will also come before Christmas?
Yes. The answer is yes. But I heard somebody say, let's have a revolution. No. No. Because there is a means by which we can deal with this without having a revolution. I'm glad you said that, because this is a peaceful movement. And anybody who's not in the peaceful movement is not with us. And if we are marching and protesting and someone misbehaves, we should point our fingers and say, not with us. Not with us. Practice, please. Not with us. Not with us.
Well, there's nothing stopping any one of those members from filing their own article any day of the week. And I would implore members of the media, next time you have an opportunity to interview a Democratic representative who complains to you and gives you all of the diagnoses of the terrible violations of the Constitution that Donald Trump is committing, why they are not filing their own article of impeachment.
So the question for members of Congress, when this next vote comes up, is where do you stand?
Yep.
Where do you stand? Are you going to stand on the sidelines with respect to this march to tyranny, or are you going to stand with the Constitution and with democracy and with defending our republic? They will have to face that question again with this vote. Thank you.
So what do you think? Because I know people have different points of view about a lot of things. Because I know people that were on board with securing the border, about lowering prices and so forth. But we see a lot of stuff that we didn't even know that was going to take place. And now it concerns a lot of folks, doesn't it? Let's take the good we learned from all of this and eliminate the bad. Let me ask you this. Do you know or suspect or believe that laws have been violated by our leader? If so, should the article of impeachment be presented? That's for you to answer. Because I can say this, as a child that grew up as a kid in the 1960s, I remember a time when there was no rights. And then when we experienced integration, the beginning of the 1970s, when we were all fused together, different races going to school together. And we learned a lot from each other, really. And then we saw this country become something that we've never seen it before. Being such a multi-racial country, we've done pretty doggone good. Better than anywhere in the world. And still what's the envy of the world? Where anybody, if you can live your dreams, if you're willing to plan and work hard for it, it can be achieved. But just thinking about that, are you concerned about the free enterprise system today? Because it's different now. I remember coming up for direct sales, going to these conventions and conferences, and everybody telling you the success principles of how to get ahead in life. And now, every time we look around, it seems like Gloom and doom is on the horizon in some sense or another for somebody. Here's a question for you. Do you believe laws have been violated? Do you believe the Constitution has been violated, disobeyed? If we don't have a Constitution, do we have peace? Do we have protection? Do we bring joy and happiness? Something to think about. But the most important thing is, has laws been violated? What about what's on the possible horizon? Robert Wilkins, your BT dispatcher, bringing you news and commentary with a different flavor. See you next time.